1 month ago, my parents died in a car accident. Since that day, my whole world has been dark. I am the only child in my family, and the silence around me feels heavy, but deep inside, I still feel them with me, watching me, protecting me. My name is Tashi. Life without loved ones is never easy. Uncle Ramesh and Aunt Radhika, our family friends, invited me to live with them. They promised to help me with my studies. They are very kind and loyal, but I didn't want to trouble anyone. I told them I wanted to do a job, to stand on my own feet. They welcomed me into their family business. My father had a small clothing brand, but I was not ready to handle it yet. When I went to their home, everyone was happy to see me. Uncle Ramesh and Aunt Radhika have 1 daughter and 2 sons. Sadi, their eldest daughter, was already married. Their second child was Dinush, and the youngest was Nikesh, who was my age. Their kind housemaid, Aunt Rani, carried my bags for me. Then, Sadi introduced me to Dinush's fiancé, Michelle. She hugged me warmly, and in that moment, I felt truly welcomed into their family. My room was so beautiful, with white walls and pink decorations. It reminded me of the days I spent with my parents. They had decorated my room with the same colors. I know they are in heaven, watching me with love. At the dinner table, we all talked about the next day. Uncle Ramesh had another urgent work, so he asked Dinush to take me to the office and introduce me to everyone. The next morning, I woke up early and walked to the kitchen. Aunt Rani was already there, preparing breakfast with care. When we reached the office, Dinush introduced me to everyone. After I sat at my table, one colleague, Nisha, came to me. She was very kind, and she explained every step of my work with patience and care. Everyone was good to me, except one. He was Warun. He always tried to find faults in my documents, not only mine, but with everyone's. He wanted to show that he was the best. During lunch, I saw Michelle at the office. A little later, she and Dinush went out together, laughing with joy. Watching them, I felt something inside me that I couldn't understand. That night, Michelle's parents came to our home for dinner. Inside, Uncle Ramesh, Aunt Radhika, and her parents were happily talking about Dinush and Michelle's wedding. The dining room was full of smiles and laughter, but I quietly slipped outside into the garden. I sat alone on the bench, looking up at the sky full of stars. It felt like my parents were there, watching me from heaven. While everyone inside was celebrating, I sat under the night sky, whispering to my parents that I still felt alone without them. After a little while, I stood up and went back inside. That's when I saw Dinesh and Michelle on his room balcony. They looked so happy together. Dinesh noticed me and called out, telling me not to stay outside alone at night. I nodded slowly and walked back into the house. A few months later, one night, as I walked toward the kitchen, I saw Dinesh in the living room, angrily speaking on the phone. I had never seen him like that before. Aunt Ronnie stood nearby, shocked by his sudden anger. I watched silently, feeling both surprised and unsure of what to do. The next morning, Uncle Ramesh told me that it was time to visit my father's office. He thought I was ready to be involved in my father's business. After a long time, I entered the office. Everyone greeted me warmly, and it felt both comforting and overwhelming. We went into my father's office room, and I felt very uneasy, remembering him. Uncle Ramesh told me that a staff meeting had been planned, and that during it, he would hand over my father's business to me in front of everyone. He promised that he would always help me and guide me, just like he had been doing since my father's time. When we came back home, Aunt Radhika asked me about my work. I felt she wanted to know if I was truly comfortable working at my father's office. As a mother, I think she understood my feelings. A little later, Sadi joined us and reminded me that they were all with me for every situation. Just then, Dinesh entered the house, looking very angry. For the past few days, his mood had not been good. I felt there was something wrong between him and Michelle. But later that night, Michelle came home smiling, ready to go out for dinner with Dinesh. That day, we were all at home. I sat alone in the garden, thinking about my future. I felt I could not stay here forever. Uncle and Aunt had done so much for me, and I didn't want to bother them anymore. I thought of staying in my own home, but the thought of being alone there filled me with fear and sadness. I remembered my parents deeply. Just then, Nikesh came to me with a glass of fresh juice. We talked about my office work and his upcoming final exam. He told me that after finishing his degree in accounting, he wanted to join my office. His words filled me with happiness, and I told him it would be my greatest pleasure to work with him. When I went to my room, I saw Dinesh. He came near me and said he wanted to talk. He asked me about my office work and the new projects. Then he told me, whenever I signed any paper, I must read it carefully first. I nodded quietly, knowing he was right. 2 months later, a very special day came for me. It was Nikesh's first day at my office. We both went together, and I introduced him to everyone. Then I showed him his own room, and I felt so happy to see him beginning this new journey with me. But that evening, when we returned home, I saw Uncle Ramesh and Dinush arguing about something. As soon as they noticed me, they stopped, and Uncle Ramesh walked away. Then came Nikesh's birthday party. Everyone was so happy. Uncle Ramesh and Aunt Radhika's friends and relatives were all there, and it felt like a very special celebration. Nikesh looked more handsome than ever that day. After the cake cutting, Uncle Ramesh spoke to everyone, saying he had a special announcement. Suddenly, all eyes turned to him with curiosity. Then, Uncle and Aunt asked me and Nikesh to come near them. I was confused. Why me? When we went near, Uncle held Nikesh's hand, and Aunt held mine. I couldn't imagine what was about to happen. The hall fell silent. Then, Uncle proudly announced that Nikesh and I were going to get engaged. My heart stopped. I was shocked, unable to speak a single word. Was it a dream? I wanted to run away. Nikesh looked so happy. But why did everyone hide this from me? Why even Aunt Radhika? I searched for answers. Sadi avoided my eyes. Dinush looked furious. Only Uncle, Aunt, and Nikesh smiled. Nikesh came to me with a ring, but I stepped back. I asked Uncle why this was hidden from me, why no one cared about my decision. Aunt came close and whispered,
"Don't make drama in front of everyone. We are doing this for your future."
Her words broke me. I never thought she would say that. When Nikesh tried to put the ring on me, I shouted loudly, "I can't engage with him. He is only my friend, nothing more." Tears ran down my face as everyone whispered in shock. Nikesh, angry, tried to grab my hand. But in that moment, Dinush pulled me close to him and told Nikesh to stop this nonsense. Then Sadi came, held me tightly, and carried me away to my room. I cried so much that night. I remembered my parents again and again. Why did they do this to me? Why? I thought they were my family. But were they? The next day, I was ready to go back to my home. I felt I could not stay here anymore. While I was packing, Sadi came to my room. She looked at me with surprise and asked where I was going. I told her, "I cannot stay here. I must leave." But Sadi held me and said, she will never allow me to live alone, that she is always with me in this house. Her words touched me deeply, but in my heart, I wondered, how can I stay here now? For me, it feels impossible. When I went downstairs, the table was empty, though Aunt Rani had already prepared breakfast. She kindly asked me to eat, but I told her I wasn't hungry. Just then, Dinesh came down. Aunt Rani invited him too, but his reply left me surprised. He said he would have breakfast outside with me. I didn't expect that. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. It felt different, like something unspoken had just started to change. Uncle Ramesh said he could not let me go because he had promised my father that he would always take care of me. He asked me to forget everything and stay here, but Aunt Radhika no longer treated me the way she once did, and Nikesh did not like to see me anymore. I stood there, lost in confusion, not knowing what to do next. One day, as I stood on the balcony, Dinesh came to me. He said he already knew everything about the engagement, and he had never agreed to it. He told me the truth, that everyone was only thinking about my property, not about me. His words shook me, and he warned me to be careful in whatever I did. I walked away, unable to believe what had just happened. My heart ached as I remembered my parents. I realized that outsiders will always remain outsiders, never as close as family. With tears in my eyes, I prayed to my parents, asking them to show me the right path and to give me the strength to face whatever comes. Early in the morning, Michelle came to meet me. Her eyes were filled with anger. She told me that Dinesh had created trouble within the family because of me. He had been the only one who stood against the engagement with Nikesh, and he argued with his parents every day. Michelle said the bond between Dinesh and Nikesh was shattered, and the peace this family once had was gone. And for all of this, she blamed me. Then I realized why Dinesh had been so upset in the past days, why he argued with Uncle Ramesh. When I came to know that all of this happened because of me, the sadness I felt was beyond words. I wondered, how could I make these things right? I went to Dinesh's room and told him, please don't argue with your parents because of me. If it happens again, I cannot stay here any longer. This family was once full of peace and happiness, but now there is distance between everyone. I know all of this happened because of me, but things are better now, and I just want you to forget the past and be happy with everyone, like before. He listened to me quietly, without saying a word. Finally, Dinesh held my hand and said that from the very first moment he saw me, he felt something special, a bond he couldn't name. He promised that if anyone ever tried to misuse me or deceive me, he would always stand by my side and protect me. He said his feelings for me could never be erased. I was left in silence, confused, lost for words, and unable to move. My heart stood still. Finally, he said, "Now it's too late for everything, but until his death, he could never forget me." I realized that I too had feelings for Dinush. When I saw him with Michelle, a quiet pain filled my heart. His care and his protection reminded me so much of my father. With him, I always felt safe. I always felt strong. But, like he said, it was already too late. Dinush was a true gentleman, carrying his feelings in silence, so no one would be hurt. And I also knew he never belonged to me. So, I made the decision to leave from here, for the sake of everyone. That day, only Aunt Radhika, Sadi, and Aunt Rani were at home. I told Sadi that I could no longer stay here. It was too painful. She knew that, ever since the engagement incident, Aunt Radhika hardly spoke to me. This time, she understood my heart. I told her I am strong, that I can face life on my own, and she doesn't need to worry about me. I will never forget all that they have done for me. When I told Aunt Radhika that I was leaving, she remained silent. She only listened. I couldn't understand this change in her. I knew if Uncle Ramesh or Dinush were here, they would never let me go. Aunt Rani's eyes were filled with sorrow as she looked at me. But I knew I must leave. I felt so unlucky. On one side, I lost my parents, and on the other, I lost Dinush, a love that could never be mine. Maybe this is my destiny.